Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris Orme. Thank you very much for stopping by. And today we are looking at Children of Morta. This is from Dead Mage and 11-Bit Studios. It was released about a month or so ago. And yeah, 11-Bit Studios. They put out a decent amount of games recently. And this is one of the most promising ones out of the bunch, I would say. It's a story-driven action RPG revolving around the Bergsons, a family of heroes that all have their own skills. There's flaws and virtues for each member, and basically, you're leading this family against the forthcoming corruption. So, there is local co-op for 2 players to play together. There will be an online co-op that is in development, and it's kind of interesting. What little I've seen of that, I don't mind at all. I do not mind at all. Usually I prefer my games of this nature to be a bit more sort of single player. I do not mind this version of the co-op mode. In fact, I quite like local co-op modes for PC more than online, where sometimes you can run into issues and that detracts from the overall experience. So, this is a roguelite game. You'll have a look quickly at some of the options. There's not too much in here, but at least there is some, and languages quite a lot. So Portuguese, Turkish, Russia, Polish, German, Spanish, French, English, and I'm guessing that would be a simplified Chinese. So here we go. The art style is quite spectacular at times. The choices made. You see that big cataclysm, the corruption.
Margaret awoke, startled, a cold sweat clinging to her. She gathered her thoughts. Aged wood creaked, echoing through the quiet rooms. Near the house stood a shrine to Rhea Dana, goddess and daughter of the land, of Rhea and a being of comfort. Margaret sought answers. But the goddess did not speak. There was only the faint whisper of something dark, something hungry. The old seer's bones felt the weight of their age as she climbed. The only thought on her mind, has it begun again?
Very interesting start to the story there.
John's mission would be a simple one. He was to investigate Rhea's greatest shrine. His mother presented him with a fresh divinity shard. From his brother came a newly sharpened sword. His wife gave him a kiss, and his daughter's hugs were full of reason to return home safe.
Like I say, we learned a lot there about the world and family, just from a little bit of a very interesting start. You get a feel of the game, the style, the narration, which I really do like about this game. And it throws you out into the world, but you have a little bit of information about your character. So for an 8-bit game, I think there's actually quite a lot of detail in the world, and I quite like that. I like the way the character turns around the mouse as well. As you can see, the controls are very, very decent. Very decent. So yeah, we see this cataclysm or whatever, and it's basically just the beginning part of the game, so we still don't know too much about it, but we saw that big explosion.
A land long forgotten, a place of unimaginable beauty.
We saw the way that it was all kind of set up. And now we got this here. I'm guessing there may be secrets and little pathways which we can go through. Hold down left shift, get your...
It first appeared as sludge given life.
Yeah, hold down
slithering
your shield.
creatures, small and vile.
So I want go. Nice and simple way to get you into the game. Of course, things are going to ramp up a bit more. You can't just spam left click and hold down left shift and expect to beat the whole game. But the early periods, you pretty much can. Let go. Refresh. And there you go. It's pretty good way of doing things at the moment. And if you saw there's a little barrier across here, almost a little sludge line. I don't think you can actually cross that until you've defeated those enemies. Perhaps not. And now you see some interesting bits. There's like a dead rabbit there. I know there's these creatures. We actually took some damage. Okay, so evade. So one-on-one, they're not too bad. You can swing much quicker, of course, when you're not holding down left shift. do a bit more damage as well, I feel. But it feels quite simplistic. But also quite nice. Like, the controls feel tight. They feel simple, but they feel tight, responsive, allow you to do different things. I think that's a mark of good design. And for a game which is an action RPG, it is mainly gonna be sort of this hack and slash, story-driven narrative, sort of focused kind of game. You're gonna want good levels of combat and control. Oh.
A wall, impeding further progress. A battle was certain.
And again, no seat. Okay, so press F to interact.
Banished by light itself, the corruption abated, leaving the shard cold in hand, dark, in need of life.
So now we've got to figure out how to get that shard back up to again. But this is, yeah. Between the noises and the, let's say, the art style, the art choices that have been made, I kind of do feel the corruption, and I do feel that little bit of sinister aspect in the world. Great Jests require a gemstone. Okay. F to interact.
The shard grew warm, humming softly from the harnessed energy.
Okay, so now we get a little bit of fire damage, which sounds cool, so expect more firepower to come. And more fighting to come.
Before him was now one more dangerous than those that came before.
Boss fight. And now we just leveled up, we gain our skill point. And you can see now we've got the skill tree and all those different abilities. I guess we've got to do this one first. I would have liked to have seen them a bit more, but after we've chosen, we can go in. So you can see here, melee attackers take damage when blocked. I would have quite liked to have a look at that one. Sword of Heaven, so that's, you know, perhaps what they're going for here. But pretty decent right-click attack. Gains some damage. You can see here a bit of rage, armor, health. They gain runes. Shield Slam. Chance for the primary attack to reset the cooldown and guarantee if it hit. I quite like that one. Able to use another ability quicker. Kill them a lot better. Okay, so when you're playing as other characters, maybe you'll be able to guard there. Nice. Slow regeneration, that's always good. Better defense, better health. So here now, for the first time, we can really see John. And you can see all these abilities here that could be part of what happens to this family and the characters you've got. But with John, master of fighting, sword and shield, the father of the family, and you can see here our stats. The map is not available right now, and the codex not really right now either. We've only really unlocked one thing. So I mean, pretty good. But that was our first little boss battle against a tougher opponent. And we gain a skill.
Goblins, a familiar threat, albeit farther out than usual.
Sweet. Also, there's two different ways I could go. I think it wants me to go that way because of the goblins, so...
Inherently violent and ill-bathed, the goblins were an unfocused, constant threat.
Okay. Doesn't look like we can do anything up there, so a little camp.
Magnificent, but dangerous. A land of love found and of love lost.
Again, you get to see the art style. The narration choice, I think the narrator themselves is very good. But the art style, the choices made, it's a very, very interesting world you play in, and everything works together to invoke the best iteration of the world. I think they put their design choices across very well, and it all pulls together with the narrative, and I'm a big fan of that. I am a big fan of that. So, yeah. I don't know, I feel like we're just all in a very good place with the game being this mix of great music, great setting, an interesting story, characters that we're learning about that'll expand into sort of more connections and more ties with the story itself. But everything leans towards that. Each decision they seem to have made.
Before him was sacred ground, left untouched in days gone by.
As I was saying, everything seems to be this whole interesting mix where everything works together.
Remaining calm and collected, the shock of his heart-skipping beats was concealed in expert fashion. Before him stood Linda, his eldest daughter, with bow and quiver at the ready, determined to do her part.
There we go. So now we got Q to stun. And we picked up a companion, and this looks like a little bit of a safe area. But as I was saying, I think everything works hand in hand, and that is really spectacular. Okay, so that's quite a powerful ability, that that Q ability. Yeah, so it stuns people. They look like they took damage as well. I could just like walk about in them. And Linda, the daughter, seems to be pretty good, so yeah, together we could do good things. We're back on the queue when we're ready. Music's changed. More of a combat encounter.
Before the Guardians were not beasts feeding, but monsters consuming, destroying others. They corrupted and distorted, creating even more hungry husks.
So that worked out quite well. Okay.
Both father and daughter gathered their thoughts, their hearts heavier than before. How would they explain what they had witnessed?
So I hope there wasn't more loot there, because by killing the last enemy we get pulled out. There's a couple of bits that we hadn't really fully explored.
The ancient tree had been cut down. Together, father and daughter described the horror, the creatures dripping with decay that slithered into bodies stuck between life and death to bolster their ranks. Grandma Margaret confirmed what they all feared. It was the corruption, a cruel entity spoken of only with hushed voices, an ocean of darkness that flowed from the top of Mount Morta. And the Bergsons' duty was to stand against this devouring deluge of death. Kevin was also eager to do his part in the family's fight, especially when his older brother Mark was off somewhere. He was as much a guardian of their mountain home as any of them. She stood. If they were to reach the summit and destroy this evil, as the Bergsons of old had done in the past, they would need the assistance of the sanctuary.
Well, damn. There's a lot about this family. Slowly we're unlocking bits of this lore.
Given to the Bergsons by Rhea herself, the sanctuary was a gateway to the mysterious lands around the mountain. Margaret pointed to the huge crystal at the center of the den, revealing their next task: to activate it and open the way to the source of the corruption. And once Rhea's 3 spirits are gathered on the grounds, the only gate to the top of Mount Morta will open in this chamber. By himself, or with the assistance of those who loved him, John needed to gather the 3 spirits from their lands. Without them, he would not be able to stem the flow of the corruption.
Okay. So you can see we can return home. We can go to the Kiltipo caves and Yeah, if we look around, we can see bits and pieces. We're gonna unlock another couple of areas, go after another couple of things. But, yeah. This is the house. And this is the family. So, it's very interesting to me to see all these different members. So there's the brother, the wife, the kids. You've got the father. You've got like Kevin. Mark is out somewhere and he will return, and Margaret seems to be in charge of this family. Spirit name and Adair traveling from the east. So yeah, all in all, I think it's kind of cool. It is kind of cool. So there we go. So Ben, John, Kevin, Linda, Lucy, Margaret, and Mary. So we got the names of the family members. So she's up there looking at it. There's an epic feel to this music. There is a scope to this game, I can say, that comes from the way everything is set up and interlaced. And I kind of enjoy it. That is where we're going to leave the gameplay for now. Like I say, you can also map your own buttons, but I think the defaults are pretty good. So let's roll credits while we talk about what we liked and disliked about this game. So the main thing for me, like I say, the art style, that kind of really dictates the game a lot. I love the choices made. I love the way the world has been set up and the way it looks and feels. And a big part of that is, excuse me, is the graphical style chosen. It feels like very sort of hand-driven sort of choices where it's not a grand design up front, but rather bits that come and are drawn down and then evolve into a wider world. And I prefer that because it feels like this story is evolving as you play. You unlock more and more of the story, which isn't really a new thing. It isn't a surprising thing. It's the way these games usually go. But that also seems to have been the way the game has been built, which I like. The music, I think, is fantastic. The narration is top-notch. As I say, the game feels very, very good in the way it controls, the way combat is set up, the differing enemies we've just seen. The fact that we got local co-op that might turn into online co-op fairly soon. I felt that the right-click attack was good, but it wasn't always there when I wanted it. But there is a skill which helps with that. And then the Q ability, I mean, I didn't even want to attack. Q and just run around and kite a big bad guy. And that kind of puts us in the right area for where we want to be. So, controls are put together quite well. It doesn't feel flimsy in combat. I feel I can get a lot done, but I can't just sort of wade through great amounts of enemies without paying attention. There has to be some form of strategy the way I play it. But it's all also very, very, very logical. Go with a shield in the front. Have your bow, your daughter with a bow just behind you, and you block shots from other people and kind of tie them up, and she kills, and you use your special abilities where you can, especially on the bigger enemies, just to make sure that you get out of it without any real issues. Seem to be quite a lot of health pots as well spawned on the floor. I quite like that. So I get a chance to see the world and experience a story without just dying needlessly time and time again. But yeah, for me, as I say, I like what I've seen. I like the way we played it, and I'm pretty happy with what we've got. So it's a roguelite approach as well. So I always like that, but I'm always wary with games that describe themselves as roguelike. This I feel could be okay to say that way, because it is procedurally generated dungeons you lead things through, so it's not roguelike, it's roguelite, but I really do like part of that. So you level up the entire family, unlock abilities. You can do a lot with this. And yeah, like I say... Oh, sorry for that. But like I say, it's a very intriguing game, and I'm not one really for 8-bit graphics. I don't like pixel art as much as other people. I really shouldn't like Morta, but I do. And I think that's got to do with the way that it takes me back to an age of games where they really sort of drew you into their world, not from their flashy graphics, but from the story, from the characters, and from the music. And I think Morta does that exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. So it is something I'm gonna have to recommend. It's $21.99 in terms of US dollars on the Steam store right now. It's part of that family of games, the 8-Bit Studios franchise. There's a lot of games in that. This is the kind of game I could see myself enjoying with a friend on co-op as well, possibly even more than single player, which again is unusual for me. But this kind of game, I feel, really does suit that model. The action RPG kind of does that for me. It's what I've played with friends before, and both locally and over the internet. But I really think this would be one to kind of fall within that vein. We've also got a lot of different kind of abilities. Each family member seems to be skilled in a certain way. So again, for the co-op, there's many different ways you can sort of do that. Different combinations of abilities, different friends might prefer different people. And yeah, you might find yourself sort of falling in love with a character you didn't like too much before, just because you need to use it in a certain situation. And I always think that it's kind of cool when that happens to me, because I do like to explore a little bit more. So, you know, we've got the sword and shield, we've got an archer, we've got some daggers as well, a fire mage apparently, and a martial arts fighter, as well as a sledgehammer wielder. So quite a lot of different ways of playing. But yeah, hand-painted pixel art, frame-by-frame animation, modern lighting techniques come to life to create the beautifully dangerous world of Children of Morta. I can't disagree with any of that. It's very highly rated as well on the Steam store. 88% of recent reviews, 86 long-term, are all positive. And yeah, I just like it. I just like it. It's just come out now onto console as well, so you can check it out there if you're not a PC gamer. The patch as well has come out like last week. There was a large number of issues that they have managed to fix. That's patch 1018, 1.0.18. And yeah, that's about all we got to say about Children of Morta, apart from check it out. As always, with any recommendations from me or anyone else, I do encourage you to look elsewhere. look at other reviews, look at playthroughs, look at what information you can find online to better inform your decision if you're going to make a purchase or not. Are you going to wait for a Steam sale? There's one coming up. There is one coming up. We're in October. You know November, December is going to have some sales coming up. $22 I feel is a touch high for this game for me. I prefer to pay around that $15, $16 mark. I think there's enough game to justify it, but it's, you know, it's still a little bit on the high side for me. If it had the co-op and stuff in it already, then as I say, that might be my preferred way of playing. That might justify a full 22, but then I'm asking someone else to pay 22 for it. So yeah, I don't know. I'd probably wait for a little bit of a sale, but yeah, about a month and a half into its release, and already all the signs are promising. An epic story unfolding at your feet with a multitude of characters to explore it with. Beautiful world, sublime music, great narration. What more can you ask for in this kind of game? Children of Morta, story-driven action RPG, thumbs up from me. Lead the Bergsons to combat the corruption. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks very much for watching. As always, you all take care. And hey, this one looks pretty good.